Let's see if the stars will align for the newest celestial in Marvel Snap. Find out what's going on as I hereby summon all my imps to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So we've got a new season. Let's give a big yeah for the new season. Yeah! So the new season is for the Celestials. And the first card that we have for the Celestials is Thena. Thena is a member of the Eternals, created by the Celestials in the World Forge. Although she has lived for countless human lifetimes, she is still considered a young woman by Eternal standards. She was sent to Earth with 9 other Eternals for one goal: the mission to exterminate a monstrous race of near-immortal beings genetically engineered to wipe out all life on a planet. They can look like anyone, as they have the ability to take on the forms of their slain prey. Thena is very gifted with much intelligence. She has studied under the greatest scholars throughout her lifetime, but she is also a formidable hand-to-hand combatant with excessive training in unarmed combat and the use of many ancient and high-tech weapons. During her times living in ancient Greece, she became the protector of Athens and was incorporated into their mythology as Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, warfare, and crafts. Thena often conjures a spear as her weapon of choice during her fights, the size of the weapon allowing her to strike at close range and yet keep some distance between herself and the target. She also possesses the ability to augment her life force, granting her immortality. She has fought in many countless battles to save humanity, but it has only been in the last few years that she and the Eternals have revealed themselves to the human world. Thena is very calm and collective, rarely showing signs of distress or anger. She is dedicated to her role as warrior of the Eternals. She does not like to partake in festivities, instead remaining aloof and spending time on her own. She is very committed to protecting humans. Being true to her warrior nature, she is fearless and relentless. She is very proud of her skills in combat. But despite her stoic nature, she is at heart still somebody who cares very deeply. Thena is a member of the race of superhumans known as the Eternals. As a result, she has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, and reflexes. She has total mental control over her physical form, granting her invulnerability and immortality. She also has the ability to levitate herself and can fly at superhuman speeds. She has the ability to cast illusions to disguise her appearance and the ability to teleport herself and others with her. Thena is a fierce warrior, technician, and strategist. She is known for being able to assist anyone in any battle. This is represented in Marvel Snap by her becoming a greater force of power anytime 2 troops join the battlefield at the same time to assist each other, even if one of them has to be her. So in Marvel Snap, what she is she has a 2 power, 1 energy, or she's a 2 cost, 1 power, with the description of static ability of after each turn, so at the end of each turn, she, Athena, I will say, gets +3 power if you have played exactly 2 cards. Not 1 card, not 3 cards, but 2. even with all this, I'm still giving her a 2-star rating. Now, let me explain why she gets a 2-star rating on this. Okay, so let's look at two things for her, first of all. First, let's look at all the different powers she can be. So let's flip over and turn to all her powers. She starts out basically as a white tiger that hit a Cosmo. So even at that point, if you ever put a white tiger and your opponent played a Cosmo, you're at that point. Then after that, she's basically turns into a Black Panther that hits a Cosmo. Then after that point, you're looking at an Onslaught that couldn't get his ongoing to take off. Then after that, you're basically coming into a She-Hulk. And then after that, you're looking at Magneto with +1 power. There's actually no 13 power cards in the game right now. So the closest you can get to Magneto. And then after that, if you hit every single turn, you can get it as strong as a Destroyer. But in order to get it as strong as a Destroyer, you do have to play a Limbo. So this is turn 0. If you get no bonuses on this. This is 1 buff, 2 buffs, 3 buffs, 4 buffs, and this is 5 buffs. Considering she's a 2, unless you do something weird or get something weird, this is the most number of buffs that you can get on her without doing anything strange. Now, even with all that, she does run into a few problems. First and foremost, if you don't own Kitty Pryde, I'm not sure I would even try to get this card. This card basically screams, put me with Kitty Pryde. I'm not sure there's a deck that exists out there that doesn't put Kitty Pryde in this if they're using the Thena. The best I could come up with was be like some sort of weird Deadpool version of this, where you play the Deadpool and then you chase the Deadpool each turn. But the problem with that is you gotta chase the Deadpool, and if the Deadpool lands wrong or some of your other cards land wrong, like your Wolverine or stuff like that, then you're eating the Thena, and is that worth it? And then it's basically just a power stick. The other main card that is going to show up in every single deck of hers is going to be the Angela. Now, just a quick little note, both Angela and Sarah are going to be in the Twitch drops this month. So if you don't have Sarah, or you can actually get her in the Twitch drops this particular month. So Angela is a card that everybody has since the Series 1 card, but if you're missing the Sarah, you'll get it this weekend. You'll get it this month, I should say. So the whole idea is that you play the Thena on 2, you play the Angela on 3, you play the Kitty on her, you maybe even play stuff like Nightcrawler on it to put it in and pull it out. But when you look at this as a 2-cost card, it doesn't take too long before this card hits above 6, which maximums is the other 2-cost card. Other than Athena, this is the 2-cost card that has been known for the most power, which is a 2/6. You move past that with 2 buffs, so it's not hard to get this up, but you have a very interesting window with it, because if you miss out on the Athena, or you miss out on the Kitty Pryde even, you have to kind of figure out this weird way of weaving in the energy. So that means on turn 6 and stuff like that, you're playing like a 4 and a 2, which makes it very interesting and very awkward to play. Also, interesting side note, in case you've never understood how this works, Mr. Sinister will not trigger Athena if you only play the Mr. Sinister. The clone is not played. Mysterio also will not trigger her because all 3 cards are played. So be careful about what's considered played. Also, another thing that you have to watch out about this is the fact of stuff like green goblins and white widows and stuff that's going to junk up your side. As soon as you play down the Angela, people understand that you're trying to put stuff in that lane, and if they have any kind of clog, they'll throw it over there to limit your spaces here. When you look at her to a certain degree, she comes close to almost being a wolfsbane. If you look at wolfsbane, and wolfsbane triggers on a good turn with no setup, you're looking at a 3/7. This is basically about a 3/7, but in order to pull that off, you have to get it to trigger at least 2 times. So it's 1 cost less, but you have to figure out how to trigger it at least 2 times. And if you pull your Angela late in the game, you run into the problem of because you can't get it to trigger twice like you can get Gamora to trigger twice. There's no long that works with her. There's no location that works with her. Or for Gamora, it can hit as a 12. Now, she can never get +6 on one turn. There's no situation where she's getting +6 on a turn by herself. Now, there's probably some manipulation you can do, but with no weird other manipulation, she's never getting +3 and then +3. Putting her on a wall doesn't help. Putting her on a also Citadel doesn't help her. Now, because of that fact, she also doesn't have to worry about stuff like Cosmo or Enchantress. Now, she still has to worry about Shadow King. And she's got to be real careful because it's not too long before she really falls over the Shang-Chi lane. And that's one of the problems, is as soon as she goes over that line, it goes 1, then 4, then 7. And then after 7, she hits exactly 10. So at 7, she's good. So two triggers, she's at exactly 7. 1 more trigger, if she triggers a 3rd time, puts her to 10, which puts her right into Shang-Chi range. Now, this does happen at the end of the game, so you could basically set it up that Shang-Chi can't hit her, and then on the end of turn 6, it becomes the 10 drop. So just be careful about that. The other thing that makes this interesting is this is basically a perfect counter for Red Hulk, as if you're ever running Kitty Pryde, it basically eats Red Hulk's lunch. But you also have to look at how Red Hulk works. If for whatever reason something happens and you have to miss a turn, skip a turn, can't play Kitty for the turn, can't find Kitty for the turn, 1 charge of Red Hulk is about every single charge of your Thena happening. Because that brings it up to a 12. You gotta go pretty heavy and pretty hard to hit the 13. So if you, for whatever reason, there's a dream dimension, there's a flooded lane, there's something that keeps you from putting down the 2 cards in a turn, and your opponent's playing a Red Hulk, you've pretty much lost all the power on that cost. Now, the nice thing about it is the fact that you can set it down early, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So, it is a powerful tool, but it's such a tech too, and there's very few decks that I can see it going into. The only deck I can see it going into is a Kitty Pryde deck. And when you have a card that only fits in 1 deck, it's really hard to give it anything more than a 2, especially when in that deck even, it's hard to get. If you don't get it by turn 2, you're already losing power. And if any of the turns you mess up on doing the 2 drops, you get a dream dimension and you can't drop 2. Then you lose some of that power. So it's a constant quest to get her to a high power. Now, if you do get her to a high power, you're looking at some extensively high numbers. I mean, you go from 7 to 10 here. This is a She-Hulk. But that's still, you basically have to get almost every turn right and get her on 2. After that point, you basically move up to a depth for Magneto's worth of power, plus 1. But that's only if you get her on turn 2. So her ceiling can be high, but you gotta be lucky. But her floor can end up being pretty low too. And if you get her on turn 6, that means that you're playing a 2 and at best maybe a 4 drop? Unless you have some manipulation for it. Okay, for the rest of the cards for this week, we have Taskmaster. Taskmaster sucks. Point blank, period. It sucked as a 2-0, it sucks as a 2-2. I am almost in the camp that this could be a 2-4 and it still might not see play. It falls into the range of being somewhere between an armor and being a silk, which armor is a 2-3 and silk is a 2-5. This should really be a 2-4, and even at that point, I'm not sure this would see play. It's a tech card on the best of day. Other card that you have this week is MODOK. MODOK is a card that is so important to discard, but the problem is that so many people own him. Let me check real quick, because I know I have the base version of him. I might even have an alternate art version of him real quick. Well, just check real quick. No, I only have the base art. Okay. He is pretty much one of the reasons that everybody gets mad that stuff doesn't get shifted down to series. Especially with this drop, everyone was expecting maybe MODOK to be in the patch of the stuff that got pushed down. And while it's good, it's not worth the cost. So, if you want my honest opinion on this particular cache, not worth getting anything. I don't even think Thena is worth getting. Thena, I should say. I keep calling her Thena. I'll call her Thena like 16 more times. But she's not worth getting because of the fact that she only works for one deck. And there's other cards in that deck that you could probably put in that would be good, just as good as she is. But to be honest, I do not see one single solitary Spotlight Cache this entire season that is really worth getting, which is really worth investing in. This might be the season to just save keys throughout the entire season. I will spend keys because I am accountant. Woo! So let's find out what's in the box. What's in the box? Where'd you get the Thena? Okay, that's super well for some reason. So we actually got the card. The only card that I actually kind of wanted to look at this week. If you want me to try to baffle my way through Thena on Friday without running a kitty, watch me on Friday. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.